So for my second hike, I guess my series of hikes here, I'm going to Wall Street Mill. So I'm hiking on the Mill Trail, the Wall Street Mill Trail here in the park in Joshua Tree. I parked over at the Barker Dam with intention to hike that afterwards. We'll see how I feel, but it should be fine. Mr. Keys, he was an arch rival of this guy that had this property over here, Worth Bagley, and supposedly after he shot the man and did prison time, first thing he did when he got out was he put a tombstone up. So this is where Worth Bagley died. So we're gonna go see that, and we're gonna go see the ruins of an old house as well. Also, we're gonna go see a truck and see how that looks. All right. I guess I should say welcome to my channel. I am Craig, the Natural Medic, hiking towards the Wall Street Mill site, Joshua Tree National Park. So not too unlike the Ryan Ranch site. Here are some ruins of an old home. Assuming this to be Worth Bagley's house. We're gonna step inside it. All right. And there's the old fireplace and one of the walls. And some more walls. How neat is that? Let's just walk around for a minute, and then we will continue on. Not much left these days. Lots of rubble and bricks, and just that outside wall right there. But even though a harsh place, harsh environment, certainly a interesting place to live, and beauty in its own unique way. Well, this is an old truck here, but you can still see the numbers on top of the truck, 525151-1 on top of the engine block, and you can see the remnants of the truck. Pretty crazy. The old stick shifter still in place, but the rest of it is in decent shape, but not great. The old seats all messed up. The old stick shifter and gas tank. I guess you sat on top of the gas tank whenever you drove this guy. Pretty crazy. This was Mr. Mann's truck. So this is an old well site. It used to be a windmill. You can see the veins have sheared off a long time ago. And this is how they got water back in the day out of the ground and pumped it up. So I've already seen Mr. Worth Bagley's house and probably his truck and his well site. Right here supposedly is where Mr. Keys and Mr. Bagley had a gunfight and ended up in Mr. Bagley dying. He pleaded self-defense, proclaimed his innocence, Mr. Keys that is, and he said, I'll turn myself into the authorities because I was in self-defense. But he ended up doing time in San Quentin. And that was in 1948, and he returned to his home, and he had a carved stone marker, which supposedly was the first thing that he did. The marker's been vandalized multiple times, so we have this replica of this that's in the Parks Museum for safekeeping. And it says, here is where Worth Bagley bit the dust at the hand of W.F. Keys, May 11th, 1943. It said, here is where Worth Bagley bit the dust at the hand of W.F. Keys, May 11th, 1943. We've already seen Mr. Worth Bagley's house and probably his truck and his well site. Right here supposedly is where Mr. Keys and Mr. Bagley had a gunfight and ended up in Mr. Bagley dying. He pleaded self-defense and proclaimed his innocence, Mr. Keys that is, and he said, I'll turn myself into the authorities because I was in self-defense. But he ended up doing time in San Quentin. And that was in 1948, and he returned to his home, and he had a carved stone marker, which supposedly was the first thing that he did. The marker's been vandalized multiple times, so they have this replica of this that's in the Parks Museum for safekeeping. And it says, "Here's where Worth Bagley bit the dust at the hand of W.F. Keyes, May 11th, 1943. Not hard to see it from this angle, but this kind of explains how it worked. Mr. Keyes operated the mill here called the Wall Street Stamp Mill periodically from 1930 to 1966, processing ores from different mines in the area. The diagram there kind of gives you an idea of how everything works. So from the top you had miners putting their ore down the chute here, and then it went through a thing called the grizzly, which separated ore sizes. Larger pieces were brought to the top here to crush, and then you had mill workers down here at the bottom going through, separated by weight. So pretty interesting situation. I think down here we might be able to get a better look at it. Let's see. So right here is where the ore carts would roll on to this trackway right here. The bigger stuff, of course, went into the hopper, which you can't see from here. And other stuff went in to get separated by size, and then they hand sorted it at the bottom by weight. I'll try to get you around to there so you can see that as well. All right, from here you can see it was water powered. So you had several cisterns of water there. Most of the water was pumped in from a long distance, I believe. You had a conveyor belt that took things down. Big stuff went in the top there. Smaller stuff went in the bottom. And then down here in that little shed there is where things were sorted out by weight. So pretty interesting operation. And like I said, I guess Mr. Keyes operated this as a profit and processed everybody's ore. Pretty crazy. And here's an old broken down truck. I'm sure was involved in the operation somehow. But it's been sitting here for a while. Okay, so that was the Wall Street Mill Trail. Now I'm going to go over here to the Barker Dam Trail and do that one. That's probably my last trail in the park proper for this trip. All right, now I'm on the Barker Dam Trail, headed out to see it. So come along. So certainly the climate around here has changed. You have oak trees, such as the one behind me here, the Turbinella oak. And it evolved with a series of animals to survive. Those included the squirrels, of course, to bury the nuts, the acorns, which helps propagate them throughout the area. You also have little swellings, and I don't see any offhand, but those are called galls, and insects, wasps in particular, on oak trees will lay an egg inside of the branch and will allow it to keep going. I'm still marveling at all the cool rock piles out here in the park. It's just a whole wonderland of rocks throughout the whole park. So cool. Again, more cool rocks. The scenery on this trail so far has been really nice. So this is the famous Barker Dam, and you have a little lake over here. Not a big one, but it is holding water in the desert and changes things for the life that already lives here and brings in new life, perhaps. There is a deal right here that says built, it says Bighorn Dam, I believe, built by William J. Keyes, Phyllis John Key, 1949-1950. So it was built by cattle ranchers in an effort to offer them something for cattle to have water. So you have some water downstream of the dam. It doesn't appear to have a spillway like a traditional dam, but you can see pieces of rebar sticking up, concrete at the top, rock at the bottom. Pretty cool. And what a view over there of that big mountainside behind. This is a creosote bush. They're mostly found in the Colorado desert, which is the other part of the park, but they have really deep seeking roots that go down to seek water, so they're definitely desert survivors. Look at all these beautiful rocks out here. Isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful rocks everywhere you look. So right here at the apex of the Barker Dam Trail, there are some petroglyphs. I don't know how good we'll be able to see them on camera. I'm going to try. Looks like there's some kind of maybe deer ones back there, or sheep, snakes, fish, perhaps lizards. Pretty neat. Now, unfortunately, somebody in the past put paint on these to see them better, and that's, you know, betraying what they are supposed to look like. You know, and their actuality and authenticity. So they don't want you to go up there, so don't harm those or touch those. One thing you do notice about the different species around here is starting to preserve their integrity by having waxy coatings in their leaves or spines and other things to save water. Then you have trees like this. You have the manzanita, which means Spanish means little apple. And they adapt by dropping their leaves back if there is a drought. But their bark is very distinctly brownish, and their fruits are little apple-like fruits. Now back to the video. All right, we're nearing the end of exploring Wall Street Mill and Barker. And sadly, this is gonna be my last group of hikes in Joshua Tree. So if you liked it, hit the thumbs up. Think about subscribing to the channel if you want to see more content. If you have any questions or comments about the park or anything that I've seen out here, make sure to leave those in the comments below. If you're listening on the podcast, click on that link to send us a message. Let us know what you're up to and what you're thinking. Okay, have a great day. We'll see you on the trail. Bye-bye.